Welcome back to another episode on Buzzworthy Businesses. I'm your host, John Visser, and with me today, I have a guest called Melissa Singleton from Aesthetics HQ. Now, Melissa is no stranger to the show. Melissa, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me back. I'm always excited to talk about Aesthetics HQ.
Yes, and it's always excited because you have such a unique model at Aesthetics HQ. Tell us a little bit about how that model works. It's really fascinating.
Yeah, so think of it as an aesthetic community. What we're doing is we're really putting aesthetic education first. So we have developed over 400 procedures, content with animated video, information so patients can go and learn about aesthetic procedures. And then providers, by joining our platform, they get more visibility. So I always describe it as the open table for the aesthetic industry, where everything is right there and you can make a decision, including Google reviews and before and after. It's just really making it all encompassing.
So, Melissa, last time we had you on the show, you and me talked. I think you mentioned like you yourself are able to do at least 30 or 40 different procedures.
Yeah.
How did this brainchild come about?
Yeah, so Aesthetics HQ came out of a couple of places. One, I'm an educator at heart. So I used to teach at the University of Florida. I'm a current faculty Galderma trainer. So I go in people's offices and train them how to do injectables. And me as a provider, when patients would come see me, I would continue to see that void of not understanding aesthetic procedures, the fear that goes with it. In fact, I had read a statistic where it said only about 9% of those that said that they're interested in getting aesthetics done actually follow through because they're afraid, they don't know where to go, and they don't know how to find the information. And I always say, you don't know what you don't know. So from having that experience, and I had a patient she had a bad complication, and she was seen somewhere that had a lot of followers, because nowadays people translate knowledge or skill with how many followers you have on social media, and that's not always the case, right? So this patient had been seen. She came to see me because she had some complications, and I needed to help fix her face, in essence. And I thought to myself, this industry is growing so much that there really needs to be a centralized hub so people can really go find medically vetted information, because a lot of the ways people find information is asking your neighbor. Well, what happens if your neighbor doesn't know anything about it, or your best friend has never had an aesthetic procedure? Do you not do anything, or how do you go about finding it? So I just really wanted to make this information and resource free for patients to use. Right now, we have about 31,000 users in our aesthetic community, and we're growing in terms of adding more providers. But people are just really excited about having aesthetic education that they can trust, and they can find vetted providers who offer those services, because each one of the procedures has a very targeted search, meaning if you're looking for learning about Botox and you click find a provider, you're finding a provider specifically for Botox. So we're really taking that investigative action out and just giving you everything you need to make that informed decision.
You know what? That's something great that you just said here, because the aesthetics industry, like you said, is absolutely bursting out of its seams, right? And everybody you ask has probably got or has heard of a story about an aesthetic procedure that did not go well. So my question to you is, when these providers are applying to come onto your network, how are they vetted?
Yeah, so what we're doing is, one, making sure that you have a medical license. That's super important, right? The other thing is we look at the Google reviews and making sure that, you've got good Google reviews, because we want to offer some safety when it comes to finding your aesthetic, provider. And it's really been quite the movement. We're even getting interest in other outside countries wanting to be part of Aesthetics HQ, because aesthetics is going to continue to grow, and we just want to position ourselves so that we can really provide that information. So as the aesthetic industry grows, so do patients' knowledge and being able to find, their next provider.
Well, Melissa, thank you so much. I would love to sit and talk a little bit more with you about this, but unfortunately, our time on this session has come to an end. So I do appreciate you taking the time to hop on the show today, and I want to thank for the viewers at home and at work for taking the time to watch the show. If you guys are interested in more businesses like the ones just featured, please log on to the Daily News Network. Until next time, thank you very much.
Thank you, John.